This podcast is sponsored by Renewal by Andersen of Central Pennsylvania. Right now, you can get in on Renewal by Andersen's super deal. $500 off every window and $1,000 off every door. That's at $0 down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Drop by renewalbyandersen.com for more information. Offer ends May 31st. There's been an increase in cyber attacks on water systems across the country. Meanwhile, a CVS and a hospital may have been sites of potential measles exposure. There's less than a year left to get a Real ID. Lastly, a flower moon will bloom in the sky. I'm Claudia Dimuro, and you're listening to Today in PA. Cyber attacks against water utilities across the country are becoming more frequent and more severe, reports the Associated Press. The Federal Environmental Protection Agency issued a warning regarding these attacks on Monday, while also urging water systems to take the proper precautions against them immediately. Roughly 70% of the utilities that were inspected by federal officials over the last year or so violated standards to protect breaches, making them vulnerable to bad actors affiliated with nations like Russia and Iran, bad actors who, by the way, have been behind the most recent attacks. And these failings also include falling short in the most basic ways, like changing default passwords, interruptions to water treatment, alteration of chemical levels to hazardous amounts, and damage to pumps are all potential results of cyber attacks on water systems. The Philadelphia region has had its first measles case since an outbreak last winter saw 9 confirmed cases over a 6-week period, reports the Philadelphia Inquirer. This case involved a Philly resident who tested positive for the disease while seeking medical care at Holy Redeemer Hospital in Montgomery County. Now the hospital and a CVS in Philadelphia, according to 6ABC, are sites of potential exposure to the disease. However, health officials are saying there's no cause for concern for the public at large, as most people are vaccinated against measles. For more information, click on the corresponding article links. The deadline to get a Real ID is May 7th, 2025, states PennLive, a little under a year away. And while a Real ID isn't required for driving or voting or things like that, you will need it to board domestic flights. So if you want to get ahead on getting one, PennDOT is recommending you head over to a DMV soon with the required documents, which are all mentioned in the corresponding podcast article. Otherwise, if you don't want a Real ID, you just need to bring a passport or military ID, if you have one, to fly domestically. A flower moon will bloom in the sky this week, says NorthCentralPA.com. Named for all the flowers that spring up this time of year, the flower moon will peak tomorrow, although you get some great viewing opportunities for it tonight too. It's also known as the leaf budding moon, the planting moon, the frog moon, and my personal favorite, moon of the shedding ponies. That wraps up today's episode. For even more Pennsylvania news and beyond, visit PennLive.com. Also, please don't forget to rate this podcast wherever you may listen to it, and to email me at todayinpa@PennLive.com with any thoughts you may have. Thanks in advance, and as always, thanks for listening. I'm Claudia Dimuro, and we'll get back together tomorrow for more Today in PA. This podcast is sponsored by Renewal by Andersen of Central Pennsylvania. Right now, you can get in on Renewal by Andersen's super deal. $500 off every window and $1,000 off every door. That's at $0 down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Drop by renewalbyandersen.com for more information. Offer ends May 31st.